Who better to preach on pride comes before a fall than someone such as myself, that has fallen numerous times because I'm way out there ahead of the Ruah, way out there ahead of God, ahead of myself, trying to do too much, only seeing things in a big perspective, like, oh, I must, be exalted to a certain platform that is impressive to my peer group, or I must always have some kind of knowledge that promotes me in the eyes of men out here. I must always have some kind of breakdown, revelation, or knowledge of scripture in Hebrew or otherwise that always is the forefront of revelation for the body, and then try to impose it on everybody in my timing, and then be like, oh, I love you, and then just leave. Um, One thing that I've never appreciated is when people are like throwing that word love around. Oh, I love you, I love you. No greater man, no greater love than a man lay down his life. Enduring love is also a part of love in Corinthians. So, people that they want to be cool with me on Facebook, but they can't midrash or fellowship over the phone, I would say that their love for their brother is limited. In which we already know God is not limited. Um, and then the thing is, I use the names Yehoshua or Yeshua and Yah or Yahuwah and stuff. But I also know if we're not careful, then there's going to be at least three groups that will be like, I only use Yahweh. Then there's another group, I only use Yahuwah. Then there's another group, I only use Yahoveh or Yahovah. And then you got like four different churches right there. And then that's not even breaking into the names of the Son. So, and does the name itself reflect the power of Ruah out here? I have yet to see that. They say, well, the power's in the name. Well, um, I see information being thrown around. I see a lot of knowledge being widespread, but I also see a lot of haste in Revelation. It's like everybody's competing to see who can have the best revelation. And I don't see really like-mindedness on enduring love, comforting one another about being caught up in the air with Messiah. I don't see that. I can just look briefly at the scriptures and point out tons of things I don't see about the body. And yet there is one thing I see, and that's everybody thinks they're right. And to me, that grieves the ghost in me, the Ruach HaKodesh. So and there's a lot of different translations coming out. And so, it's kind of like when the scripture says knowledge and prophecy pass away and then only love remains. How well did you love someone? Your brother is the belief. What from his spirit did you offer them, or did you cut them off immediately when you couldn't force them to receive your revelation? So it's definitely a maturity thing regarding love that's missing. There's a lot of information, but the reason I can't verify information instantly is, for one, it doesn't quicken in my spirit. Two, some things, and two, it seems forced. Like, well, I studied this and I learned this and I have the scripture to prove it. It's like, yeah, but what if the interpretation that you're so holding fast to just doesn't speak to my spirit? oh well, now you're cut off, you're not part of this camp, and then I end up feeling condemned when 5 minutes ago we were just having good fellowship, and then now 5 minutes later I'm not part of your camp. That to me is just retarded. um so and this is just stuff that's coming to my mind about what's going on in the end times here. And then it seems like prophecy in itself is kind of avoided. uh the subjects of the feasts of Yah, they're only very exclusive groups that are trying to look into that prophetically and parallel with a coming bridegroom, you know, uh, paralleling the ancient, Jewish wedding tradition, and how Jesus, being an ancient Jew, was, speaking in idiom or speaking in parable and talking, because he comes from that culture. He was talking in that culture to that culture. So, studying that and maybe comparing it to what he meant through parables and prophecy, and what the prophecy means as a whole and where it comes from. Um, you know, there's even people out here saying that Jesus Christ is the devil's name, or the enemy's going to come named Jesus Christ, and many will come in my name and deceive many, he said. But um, there's not a single version of scripture that says the devil will show up and call himself Jesus Christ. So to say that's 100% fact, I can't totally go off that. And there's so many out here that use that name liberally that have experienced the power of Yah. And some people saying you can't even say the word God, but I retain the freedom to be able to speak in English and not have to be forced to adopt other people's transliterations or translations, because I haven't had that revelation about what they're talking about yet. And I look into it, but how much do those people look into what's being revealed to me in Ruach? So I mean, it goes both ways. I had another brother come out and call me a lawless false prophet the other day, and I'm like, so that's how you felt about me the week before when you're smiling in my face? That to me, that don't even make any sense. You might as well just said that and not talk to me when the first time you thought it. Let your yes be yes. So there's a lot of shady stuff going on in the body of Messiah, and it would be real easy for everyone to get divided against everyone else and just all kill each other with judgments and condemnations.